welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Friday evening class. Please excuse that we're so late. We began the program, but we weren't able to stream it. So excuse us for this. We'll be much more on time from now on. Get all the bugs out before it's time. Samsara dhavana lalita loka Tranayakarina gana ganatam Sarada I worship the lotus feet of the divine. I mean, the song is perfect, but the singer is very imperfect.
Page 56.
Page 56.
What is it that Sudarshan always says, that substance is more important than form, or something to that effect? So I think we're all good.
Uh-oh,
As
that's
long
even
as-
worse.
As long as we're sincere.
Yes, exactly.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, who is the ocean of auspicious qualities, just to deliver all planes of life that are suffering in the forest fire of the material world. He, as the rain cloud of mercy, melts to shower down the waters of compassion.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, whose heart is maddened with nectarian love for Sriman Mahaprabhu by the grand congregational chanting of the holy name. Dancing, singing, and playing the kolan kartals, etc. His body thrills with joy, trembles, and waves of tears flow from his eyes.
Do we have a?
Oh yes.
I'll say the next one and then.
Okay.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, who personally engages in many types of worshipful services, such as dressing the deity and cleansing the Lord's holy temple, and similarly engages the devotees in his retinue.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, who fully satisfies the devotees of Sri Krishna with 4 types of nectarian prasadam foodstuffs that are chewed, sucked, licked, and drunk. That is, he brings about the dissipation of mundanity and the awakening of the joy of love that develops from respecting prasadam, and he is thereby himself satisfied.
5.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, whose heart is insatiably desirous of tasting the infinite holy names, forms, qualities, and pastimes of Sri Radha Madhava that are full of the sweetness of love divine.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, who is extremely dear to the Supreme Divine Couple, who sport in the groves of Braja, because he is greatly expert in those appropriate engagements that are performed by the Sakis in order to serve the amorous pastimes of the divine couple.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, who is the simultaneously inconceivably distinct and non-distinct manifest embodiment of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the scriptures sing the glories of his being the direct, non-different form of the Supreme Lord Sri Hari, and the pure saints also conceive this, yet he is the most beloved of the Lord.
I worship the lotus feet of the Divine Master, ever seeing his glories and meditating upon him at the 3 junctions of the day. By his grace alone, one gains the grace of the Lord, and if he is displeased, the soul has no shelter anywhere.
And then the last verse that we didn't sing, but it is just saying that one who during the Brahma Muhurta, the 96 minutes before sunrise, with meticulous regularity, wholeheartedly sings these 8 prayers to the Divine Master, attains upon leaving the body in his spiritual perfection the qualification to engage in the direct service of the Lord of Vrindavan. Haribol. Many things must be crossed in this journey, but it is a very wonderful journey. And many wonderful things are contained in every drop of the infinite. So we are trying to come, as Guru Maharaj says, trying to cross many concrete things that seem very concrete to us, will be passed, and not through fighting, not through opposition, but through through the feeling of humility and tolerance, then we can proceed past many things which seem very substantial and leave them behind like a dream. So Mahaprabhu was saying, Trinadapi sunichena tarodava sahishnana, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadahari. To chant the holy name of the Lord, one must have this humble heart and not looking for any kind of prestige, but ready to offer prestige to others and be very tolerant. But we don't really understand the depth of these things. But as we're making some continuing on, we may get some insight into really how deep these truths are. It's not just a posing or a matter of some external practice, but these are actually a deeper vision of reality that will bring us to this type of feeling. And that is where the holy name lives. That's where the real name will come into the heart.
Can I ask a question, Didi?
Yes.
And before I ask the question, Kyo has a brief question.
Oh.
He says, is it spelled prashat, prashara, or prasharam?
Either one.
Either one, Kyo.
Sometimes it's pronounced prasad and sometimes prasadam. Thank you for the question.
And then my question is, our gurus are encouraging us to chant, and also Srimad Mahaprabhu, his advice is chant while you're walking, working, even sleeping, chanting. And today I saw a quote that was shared in Jai Sri Instagram account by Ananda Krishna Prabhu. It was a quote by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Guru Maharaj. And the quote was explained. I'm gonna paraphrase. I apologize, but Srila Guru Maharaj was sharing with us the importance of sound, how it can cross the layers of intellect, of matter, and it can affect our consciousness in ways we cannot even comprehend. But the transcendental sound, specifically the holiness of the Lord, that's inconceivable. So my question would be, what's the difference by chanting the names of Lord Gauranga and the names of Sri Radha and Krishna? Like, for example, Nitai Gauranga or Jaya Sachinanda and Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yeah, that's a super good question. When Krishna showed his pastimes, once in a day of Brahma, Krishna himself, Swayam Bhagavan, he shows his pastimes in Vrindavan, and those are recorded in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and other Puranas too are referring to that, just in a sort of brief way. But that is not giving entrance to that. We can know about it. We can think, oh, this is wonderful. The Supreme Lord has so many loving pastimes. But that is not giving us entrance. But Mahaprabhu is giving entrance. Mahaprabhu is distributing that to anyone and everyone. That's the nature of the highest mercy, is that it doesn't discriminate who is the proper recipient or not. He's not thinking, oh, this is a religious man, therefore he deserves it, or this is a good guy, so he deserves it. This guy, he doesn't know what he's doing, so he's not getting anything. It's not like that. But anyone who has the good fortune to try to approach Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu is coming like a hurricane to give what he has come to taste himself. He's distributing that. Therefore, he's Mahabharanaya, the most magnanimous personality. He doesn't care. He's not asking. Guru Maharaj says, we're not standing in the line or standing in the queue where your qualifications are being examined. There is no qualification. for mercy. Mercy and qualification don't really stand in the same line. But once we begin, then we tat karma pravartana, then we have to follow properly the way of progress. But to begin, it is simply a matter of mercy. And the example is given of if a man has been in an accident and he's lying unconscious, a doctor may come and just do something. The man doesn't even know he's being helped. He doesn't know anything. But then after some ministrations by the doctor, then the man may come to some consciousness and he will begin to take part in his own progress. So this type of mercy is called a gyata sukriti. A gyata means we don't know, but some good fortune, good connection with the divine plane through the divine pure-hearted agent has come to touch us, and then after some time, all of that will accumulate in gyata sukriti. Means I need to do this. I need to make some progress in my spiritual life. And then sadhu sangha, and then all of these different.
Then it was Shraddha, right?
Yeah, Shraddha, sadhu sangha. Some faith will be there like this. There's some wonderful thing that exists, and I've got to find it. And you can see that in your inner eye. You know that it's there. No one can say, nah, it's all nonsense. No, you have it. Because of this agyata sukriti and gyata sukriti, there's a clearing of the real perception of the soul. And he knows this thing exists, and he's looking for it. And then, because he's looking for it, the Lord is sending some sangha, some association with sadhus, with others who are pursuing this, and with the great souls who are holding this in their hearts.
I think it's love.
And then so on. And they're from progress from there. So the question is about the difference between the difference between chanting the name of Mahaprabhu and chanting the name of Radha and Krishna. In one sense, there's no difference between Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna. But Mahaprabhu's Radha and Krishna combined in this dynamo and distributing it like anything, like free, like some magnanimous man may come out into the street. Guru Maharaj said, like a king may come out into the street and pick up some homeless orphan out of the gutter and hold him to his heart and take him into his family. This is the mood of Mahaprabhu. So when Radha and Krishna are combined in that mood and come to this world, the magnanimity is really quite astonishing. So we are approaching Mahaprabhu, and from there, these things will come. Any other question? Questions are so good. Is there a question about that? So when Krishna sees the glories of Radharani, and he doesn't know what is in my storehouse, like a rich merchant, he's got somebody who's canvassing for him, and that person, that canvasser, finds some really wonderful thing in his storehouse, and he takes it out to the public, and the merchant is thinking, I didn't even know that was in my store. I didn't know that was in my storehouse. And so, seeing Radharani, he's feeling, what is that in me that she has found? I want to know that. And these are the reasons for Mahaprabhu. Like Krishna's also. He wants to, and then taking her complexion as she's giving it to him with smiles, they are combined. in the sense that Krishna is searching for himself in the mood of Srimati Radharani, and at the same time distributing that inconceivable substance to anyone and everyone. And Nityananda Prabhu is the greatest distributor. He's knocking on the door of anyone and everyone and rolling on the ground and begging them to take the name of Gauranga. Because the name of the Lord and the Lord are not two different things. And by sound is the most powerful way of connecting with the Lord, by his name. That's in every single scripture. So these are all really fine things, and but we should understand that very much, to take the name of Christ. I was driving along on a big highway in England once, going north from London, and I looked up and there was an overpass, and a big painted on the overpass was "Say Gauranga."
Serious? Wow.
And I did.
Why?
And I thought, that sounds good. I should get some, things for our back windows. Say Gauranga. For the back windows of our cars. But anyway, that is so, there's so many things. And so, I was listening to a class today, and Srila Guru Maharaj was talking about, that we are joining with the serving potency and worshiping the serving potency, taking fully that part, that Swarup Shakti. Swarup Shakti, and we are all parts of that. Like the dust of the earth is still the earth, but very tiny. But we want to be fully engaged in that, in serving that highest potent Hare. We say Hare. It is coming under this serving potency of the Lord, who is Sri Radha, and we want to make our lives a contribution to that. And in the highest sense, there's no Krishna without that. And Krishna is very dark, and that serving potency that is very golden and is revealing Krishna. So these are all kind of fine things, but they're to be known. So in some kind of way, however we can approach it. Hari Bol.
So when the Vaishnavas are inviting us to take the names of Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, that means also includes the Mahamantra.
It's like the because Mahaprabhu is giving the Mahamantra to us. And he's also chanting the Mahamantra. So what potency is in the Mahamantra? We can't conceive of it. I mean, to us it's just like a thing we hear, because we're just listening with these two holes in our head. But when the real ear of the soul awakens, then that is the full nourishment of his heart, is that mantra, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Just like Guru Maharaj said, just like if a scientist could enter into ether, he would find so many wonders in there, if he could enter that. And what to speak of divine sound. So many wonders are there, not conceivable to the mind that is depending upon the senses to gather experience, this dead experience. But when the heart awakens through the chanting of the Mahamantra, then we will begin to find so many wonders, but divine wonders, meaning they're not selfish. They're all the wonders of devotion. in that mantra. But now we're you know, we're being awakened gradually by that sound. And you know that verse in Upadeshamrita, that, and maybe when the tongue has jaundice, I don't know if anybody here has ever had jaundice. You've had
Yeah.
it. So you know the experience of eating something sweet when you have jaundice.
This is way before I met the devotees, though.
Oh, really?
But they actually said that was your medicine.
What's that?
They actually told me that was my medicine. Steve.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Sweet is the medicine, but it tastes horrible. When you have jaundice, sweet taste is bitter and terrible to taste. But by taking it, then it actually cures the jaundice and the sweet taste is now available. So the holy name, it may be like okay, chant the holy name, you know, because it's not entertaining to our mind at the beginning. And the mind's like, wait a minute, I already said that. I got to go look at TV and watch something that I already watched a million times in a million different scenarios, but I'm sure it's going to be really fun this time. And, you know, that's what we like, all this novelty, get something new, something quick. But that tongue is a jaundiced tongue. But when the name, it will cure that. And then the sweetness of the name will also be available to us, just more and more.
Srila Goswami Maharaj chanted my japa in India.
What was that?
I lost misplaced my japa, and I got another one in India, and Goswami Maharaj chanted on it for me.
Oh.
Every house.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask him. I forgot. I didn't think about asking until now. Okay, so
No, go on.
So when he told me, and then we had that live chat with him on the computer some years ago. If I had thought of that, I would have asked him, what did Gurudev tell us when he gave us japa? There was some specific instruction, and I can't remember what he said. Gurudev gave us.
I can't quite hear you, Prabhu. What did Gurudev say? What?
Gurudev gave us an instruction upon initiation, and Goswami Maharaj told me what it was. I forgot what he said.
Oh,
Do you know what he was talking about?
I mean, he did give quite a few instructions. I'm not
There's
sure what he
something specific-
referred to, but
There's one thing specific he said, I forget what it was.
he told us, don't fall asleep chanting.
Happens all the time.
don't put your beads in your hand in order to fall asleep. And of course, and not to talk to others while chanting. You know, to take some time, and then, I mean, also chant without offense.
That's what he wanted to say.
Chant without
Yes,
offense. So there are 10 offenses against chanting the holy name, and then there's namabas. But the chanting with offense, this is causing interruption. And namabas is like, abas means like a shadow, or the shadowy connection with the name, but it's not an offense. But I mean, there are so many things to remember about chanting the holy name, and to do it also. Don't lose your beads. Again, I mean, the second time. We also lost our beads when we were really young. We just didn't know anything about it, so we just bought some new ones. Just a couple of idiots. Oh, well, I guess we better go to Walmart and see if I can find some beads. No, we went to an Indian store and got some more beads of some kind. And then when we went to India in 1985, so that was like probably 12 years later. And Guru Maharaj found out that we had lost our beads. Weak. So he gave us Gayatri and Japa again, and Harinam and Gayatri all over again. Any other questions about anything? I'm a little under the weather, so I hope I'm not being horrifyingly boring. Probably I'm rambling along.
So, Didi, what conclusion would we give to the question about the difference between chanting the names of Gauranga, Jaya Sachinanda, Gaura Hari, and the Hare
Because
Krishna
Mahaprabhu
Mahamantra.
is giving entrance into the chanting of the Mahamantra and the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Otherwise, there's no entrance
So
into that plane.
that's why we chant the Panchatattva Mahamantra.
Yeah, they're bestowing inconceivable waves of mercy on the conditioned souls, all of the Panchatattva.
Kyo is asking, how many times chant the Panchatattva Mahamantra before chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, please?
Well, at least 3 or 1. I mean, I don't think there's really a number.
Are you talking about beads or are you talking about Kirtan?
Before chanting the, I would say maybe both. Before chanting the Mahamantra.
You can just chant at least 1, and I mean, I don't think there's a really prescription of number, but we should always chant the holy names of the Panchatattva. They've come, the Lord has come in 5 different forms of truth, and they are all persons, and they've all come to this mundane plane to give so much help to us in the chanting of the holy name. So, all right. Any other questions? I know this got a little bit, maybe a bit, I don't know what it got, but I was just hearing this talk today, so I wanted to kind of share it.
Jai.
So, any other questions, Prabhu? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fine, thank you. No, I don't have questions.
Okay. So should we read from Shri Guru and His Grace? Do you want to add something, Krishna Mohini? All right.
I can imagine.
Jai, Shri Guru and His Grace, Ki Jai.
Jai.
This is from the talks of Srila Bhakti Raksak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj. So, the first thing is about initiation, and then God consciousness versus society consciousness. And that's a very good subject, because we have a tendency to put everything in a manageable box, even the infinite. Guru Maharaj said, I'm going to say some really... Guru Maharaj said, you can never capture the infinite. He has no parameters. No parameters. There is nothing that is restricting the Lord. And what we know about Him, maybe we will find out something different later. We can't put it in a box. We can't put Krishna in a box. So we know something, and but the really amazing thing is that by the grace of Gurudev, we are given a program where we are trying to make progress toward the infinite, which almost seems contradictory. But within the infinite, that is also possible. So one man once said, if the infinite can be known, then He's not infinite. And then Guru Maharaj said, but if the infinite wants to make Himself known, then He is infinite. If He wants to, and He does it, then He's infinite. There's no restriction on Him. You can't say He cannot be known. He can be known if He wants to be known. That would also be a restriction. So there's nothing impossible. You can make the possible become impossible, the impossible become possible. And the fact of the nature of God is that He is extremely sweet and merciful. It is His very nature. He doesn't want bad for anyone, not in the highest sense. Everything is good for everyone if we can see behind the shallow vision of things. So that vision has to be awakened, and it can be, which is a miracle. through following tat karma pravartanats, following some way of progress, but we can't make that some solidified, unassailable, carved in stone thing. Because that can change, it can be different from one person to another. All of this is fluid. We're dealing with a person. We're not dealing with a thing or a concept or a society. So when a society starts to get too solidified, and we do this and we do that and we do that, and that's it, like that's what defines the purpose of the society, then it will lose track of the interaction between this individual soul and the infinite personality of Godhead, who is fluid and whimsical. He's whimsical. How would he not be whimsical? How would the absolute reality not be whimsical? Oh no, I better behave myself. If you want a Lord that behaves himself, then the Lord expands himself to reciprocate with that desire, and that is Lord Narayan of Vaikuntha. But Krishna is never behaving himself. Why would he? Who would want to restrict anything that the Lord does? And so the process of Sharanagati is right now, in this position that we're in, we have to crack open that ego and accept that what the Lord is bringing before me is good for me. Because I'm for him, and bowing down deeply before any circumstance will open up the deeper purpose of that circumstance that will never be perceivable by any other way. Everything has purpose. Every movement of every leaf has deep purpose. Why? Because it is an expression of the infinite. But we don't want him to be a person, except for this guy who sits in the church or the temple and just does good things that I like. That's absurd. What do I know about what I like? I mean, in one sense. I don't even know what's good for me right now. But he knows what's good for me, and he wants what's good for me more than I've ever wanted it. So through the process of surrender, which seems impossible under certain circumstances, because we're so dug into a prejudice that is not even real. It's not truth. But through surrender, that deep, like solidified, concrete prejudice, which is such a burden in our heart, can be cracked easily. And we can see another perspective, another angle of vision that is so beyond what the mind or senses can ever perceive. But this is a gradual thing, and we will practice this in all the other practices that we've been given. This life, Bhakatera prana, prana means life. The life of that is our relationship with the infinite, which is always surrender. So surrender in the mundane plane looks bad. It's like, okay, I'm defeated. I've become less. I've become subdued, overpowered. But surrender to the Lord is coming into the wave of himself. He's bringing us into the wave of his own existence. It's always wondrous. And it's a hard job. But we're going to do it, because honestly, if you think about the alternative, clearly there is none. It's all nonsense. It adds up to nothing.
Bless you.
Any comments about any of that, or is it kind of clear? Or anyway, so this society consciousness versus, God consciousness versus society consciousness, that was the first thing that came to my mind. Is we cannot solidify we tend to solidify things in a way that we can control it. We can get our heads around it and it'll all fit inside of our little, tiny little world. But we cannot do that. That's a mistake. So that's, niyamagraha. Niyamagraha means what I'm doing is the thing. I just do this and then the thing happens. It's much more living than that. Much more living. Anything else? All right. And the holy name of the Lord is that name, is that truth. The infinite absolute reality, fully free, independent, full of nectar. That sound is that person. Those persons. The Supreme Lord and the Supreme Serving Divine, inconceivable serving potency combined. So this chanting is not just some, okay, I feel better, like somebody was, Srila Guru Maharaj tells a story that somebody went to a lecture, a really good lecture by one of the disciples of Saraswati Thakur. And he said, oh, I really love your lectures. And he goes, oh, good, what is it that you like? He said, I get a good sleep. Like I never sleep otherwise. And when I listen to your lectures, oh, I really sleep deeply.
During the lecture or afterwards?
I don't know. You say, well, okay. Well, that wasn't quite what we were getting at, but, we have to keep going and finding out what is the real deep, what is the depth of this? Why are we chanting the holy name? What is the holy name? Can the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the origin of all different kinds of relationships in different forms with all living entities, plus the master of the illusory energy, which helps the conditioned soul to think that he's the center of his own existence? How can we know him? Well, he's descended in his own name, fully, with all potency. It's a miracle. It's beyond any kind of miracle. How else? Unless he's giving his own self. What are you going to do? Bang down the door? So should we read from this chapter?
God consciousness versus
society consciousness? Yep.
Let's do it.
Okay, page 73 in Sri Guru and His Grace. Student, in the quest for spiritual truth, one may join a religious mission to advance toward the ultimate goal of life. After some time, however, sectarian policies may appear to bar the path of progress. He may see that within the society, pragmatic concerns take precedence over spiritual ideals. This can also happen. We got to get stuff done. The International Society of Getting Stuff Done. We have many things to do, but that in that doing must be the heart connection of surrender, the life of it. If one feels the necessity to look elsewhere, his authorities may tell him that there are no higher truths to be found. One may also be warned that if he leaves that society, he will suffer serious repercussions. He may become an outcast, branded as a heretic for pursuing what he sincerely feels to be the ideal upon which the society was founded, his reason for going there in the first place. Should he risk leaving this society, ignoring the advice of his immediate authorities? or should he try to remain within the society? Is that a clear question?
Could you repeat the question, please?
He's saying, if one comes to a religious society, he's looking for spiritual progress, and the ideals of that society are very deep and they've attracted his heart. But then it starts to get solidified by pragmatic concerns and sectarian constrictions. Should he, and then he's warned, if you leave this form, the form of this society, there will be serious repercussions for you. And you will be outcast, nobody will talk to you. You'll also maybe, in some very extreme cases, you'll go to hell, you'll this and that. But his heart is telling him, no, what I came for, I'm not finding that anymore here. Should he pursue his heart, or should he stay in this society and be safe? Pretty nice question, huh?
The society meaning society consciousness.
Yeah, just like the group who's doing the stuff that you do, but has lost the heart of the thing. Yeah, I mean, this is happening during that time, right? After Srila Prabhupada left the world and things started getting very different.
Right.
I mean, with no criticism in my heart, I'm saying we also had to leave, because what we found, what we came there for, what we found there, what we were feeling, the life of the thing, we had lost it, and we had to do something else. We had to keep going in the line that we came there for. We did. But we found that we were not able to do that alone. We started a whole little community in the mountains to try to just keep that. But then by the grace of Mahaprabhu and Guru Prabhupada, we found out that Srila Prabhupada had ordered that his devotees take shelter of Srila Sridhar Maharaj. And boy, what we found there was more than what we were even hankering for. Like a what do you call it? A push upward. And Prabhupada knew that would happen because they were very intimate friends. So seek and ye shall find, right? Srila Sridhar Maharaj's answer to this question is, progress means elimination and new acceptance. Right? If I'm going to come from here to there, I have to give up this.
Right.
So when there is a clash between the relative and the absolute standpoint, the relative must be left aside and the absolute should be accepted. Suppose you are American, but at heart you're a socialist. In your general practices, you will live harmoniously as an American, but when there is a conflict between the capitalist and the socialist, which side would you accept? The socialist or the capitalist? Your creed is that of a socialist. He's just giving this as a mundane example. You live in a country where the majority are capitalists, and when there is no difference between the two parties, and there is no conflict. But when there is a clash, which side will you side with? Internally, you may identify yourself as a socialist, but for the sake of peace and for the good of the country, you may not express that externally. But suppose you are an out-and-out socialist. You will try to keep your creed, the purity of your faith for the socialists, and you will try to leave the country and join the socialists. So he's just giving an ordinary, political example that unto your heart be true. So the absolute and the relative are two different classes of interest. And we find more importance in the absolute interest. So there's relative interest, and we can go on with that, but suddenly there may be a clash, even within our practicing environment. There may suddenly be a clash. And then that comes for a reason. And you will go deeper into your absolute conception. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gaur Jaya Ju Ki Jai. So the absolute and the relative are two different classes of interest, and we find more importance in the absolute interest. We must be sincere to our own creed. Sometimes we have to leave our paraphernalia if it does not suit us. So also, even in the conception of purity of the Krishna consciousness movement, in the Vaishnava creed, there is purity and there is form. The form is necessary to help me in a general way to maintain my present position. At the same time, my conception of the higher ideal will always goad me to advance, to go forward. And wherever I go, I must follow the greater model. The greater ideal, spiritual life, is progress. It is not stagnant. Do you follow? Any question about that? It's quite a lot to think about. So the form is to give structure. The form is to give, like a scaffolding, I always think of it. The form is to give some protection, some structure to our practicing life, and it is really important. But at the same time, when that form is not supporting my progress in the inner sense, then that must be left behind. But it does not have to be left behind otherwise. It's helpful. Our practicing life, our different kinds of things that we do in our practicing life are giving much help to us. And it is absolute help. It's not a compromise. But when a certain level of that help no longer is supporting my progress, then that must be left behind. It will be left behind. There's no other way. But we don't leave these things behind immaturely and just become whimsical. So these things are always having to be adjusted. So Catholics, Protestants, and Puritans, Srila Sridhar Maharaj, it is progressive. We are in the stage of sadhana, spiritual practice, and we want a progressive life. So it's not that the form of the sadhana is the end in itself. There's life within that. It's like saying that a house is the same as a family. There's life inside of the house. When there's no more life in the house, you may not want to be in it anymore. You may look for life somewhere else. So these are important things, and and these are coming into the heart and the question of the practitioner as it is necessary.
Didi, what is the meaning of the word sadhana?
Practice.
Practice.
Like all the different practices that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Our regulated life and devotional practice life. Rising in the morning, chanting, putting tilak, our dress, the temple cleaning, taking care of Tulsi, all those things are sadhana. But we are wanting to go deeper in some of the sadhana than the original practice, which was just do this and move your hand this way at this time of the day. And you know how we are in the beginning. We're all beginners. So we're doing the form of the thing, but eventually, and that form must also be serving the heart's hankering by which, because of which I approached the thing in the first place. And that heart must be being affected by that. Otherwise, you get bored. You don't want to do it anymore. I go, okay. There has to be that life. And that life, what does Mahaprabhu say? Bhakatera prana, shikaya sharanagati. He's teaching sharanagati, which is that life. The life of the practice is in surrender. Then you're brought forward and forward. That can't be left out. Otherwise it becomes this form of things that we do. We do this. And that is not nothing. That is something. But the life must be there. It's like you buy a brand new TV and you're talking all about it, tell your friends, you got all these specs, oh, I'm telling you this many pixels, and oh my God, and it's all wonderful, but you don't plug it in. After a while, you're going to stop looking at that thing. And your friends are going to think you've lost your mind.
It's an energy.
So these are fine points, but they're important, right, to think about these things. Otherwise it becomes this. So again, the Catholics, Protestants, and Puritans, so this is all, again, giving certain examples of persons who went forward, you know. Srila Sridhar Maharaj, it is progressive. It's not the stagnant form of things that we do. We are in the stage of sadhana, spiritual practice, and we want progressive life. We want to go ahead, not backwards. I'm going to interrupt again, but Srila Guru Maharaj said that when you're riding a bike up a hill, you got two options, up or down. So spiritual life is like that. You have to keep moving forward or you're going to go backwards. And you're going to be like, what was I doing this for? The formal position will help me to maintain my present status, and my extraordinary affinity for the ideal will goad me toward the front. So Gurudev was saying, sadhana and the four regulated principles, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, those are going to keep you solid in your position, not falling back. And then from there, though, you must go forward. Just as there are so many progressive parties in so many missions, progressive communists, progressive Christianity. First there were Catholics, then Protestants, then Puritans. In this way, Christianity progressed. So there is a development in the right way and also in the wrong way. The search for Sri Krishna is dynamic and living, so adjustment and readjustment is always going on. And we should also change our present position accordingly so that we may not have to sacrifice the high ideal for which we have come. Any question about any of that? Is it clear or is it not clear? It's clear, right? It's like if you go to, my whole life I wanted to go to Harvard University. Then you get into Harvard and you got the Harvard thing going on and you're just there, I'm in Harvard. It's like, no, you're supposed to actually leave this place better than when you came here. You don't just stay here like,
I'm in
Harvard. You grow this big white beard.
Did you really want to go to Harvard? You're saying that.
It's a thing that's supposed to make you progress. What?
That wasn't one of your desires, though.
What was that?
To go to Harvard, that was one of your desires?
No.
Oh.
But Asimaj went to Harvard. But he graduated. It's not like, you stay there and you're like, oh, I'm in Harvard, and you take a picture every day and send it to your friends. And it's like, you're supposed to be learning something so you can leave here eventually. One is born in a particular land by the arrangement of nature, but his high ideal may sometimes ask him to leave the country. Einstein had to leave Germany to go to America for his high ideal of life. and so many similar instances may be found in the world. The ideal is all in all. The highest ideal in a man is his highest jewel. Our most precious gem is our ideal. And that will also become more developed and more clear and more crystalline. Many things are recommended in the scriptures, but they are meant to promote us toward the truth in an indirect way. Sarvadharman Nidanam Shreya. I gotta have my glasses to read the Sanskrit. Sarvadharme Nidanam Shreya. It is recommended at a certain stage that for the sake of our close friends, we should give up our ideal. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's final instruction is, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. If it is necessary to maintain the highest ideal, you must give up your friends. So by friends here, he's saying Dharma. Dharma, which was once the ideal, the one most wonderful thing in my life, following all the rules and the regulations, and this mantra in the morning and this mantra at night, and it was so uplifting and so wonderful and clear, giving charity and performing austerities and all that. But for what? You may have to give all that away to pursue something finer. Because that in itself is not really valuable. You must find in the midst of that the jewel of what it is leading to. And that those principles of Dharma may eventually fall away. It reminds me of a rocket ship, the first booster is becomes useless. It has to go.
Another good analogy.
Huh?
Another good analogy.
Huh? If it is necessary to maintain the highest ideal, you must give up your friends. Surrender to me. I am the real purport of the scriptures. Otherwise, we forget. We're so busy doing the scripture thing that we forget what it's for. The highest kind of idealists give up their country, their family, their friends, and everything else, but they cannot give up their ideal. And this is going to be very challenging at times. Something's going to challenge my present conception. I'm thinking, I got it, I do this in the morning and I do this in the afternoon, and, I got this all, and then something comes and goes, start like an earthquake. And then you think, well, wait, what was I here for again? What was I doing? And have to go deeper. We have to be ready for that. But through surrender, we will find the actual stability of existence, which is the absolute truth, who is a person. Nothing else is stable outside of full consciousness of him. Nothing external has stability. Nothing. But then we're thinking, well, no, Dharma is stable. It's in the scriptures. Like, this thing that I do and this thing I do is stable. But then maybe that's not going to be possible. What will happen, for example, this is a very common thing. We are relying on a certain degree of vitality that makes us feel enthusiastic, right? A certain degree of vitality. What if suddenly you don't have that vitality? Then where will your enthusiasm come from? That has to go deeper. It has to go deeper. Not that that will necessarily happen to anybody at any time, I'm not saying that. But it's just an example, because I've seen that when we, you know, I mean, I felt it myself, right? Like, yeah, I'm doing this every day and it's great, and you know, and then my hand is broken and I'm sick and I'm like depressed, because why? I don't have any vitality. Is vitality the essence of what I'm doing? Then we have to go deeper. This circumstance has come for a reason, and I must go deeper. My Lord, you are arranging this. Let me bow down to you. I know that this is good for me, and I am for you. What you want is what I want. So please give me some service. What is my service now? What is this thing that I'm looking for? I'm still looking for you. And I forgot. I thought that I was, you know, that this was the thing. But suddenly, oh no, this is not the thing. This is going to happen. So there's this essence, and we have to keep reminding ourselves of what it is. That is the actual substance. That is the real substance, and he's a person, and he's completely free, independent, whimsical, and coming in full surrender to him, and the worship of the serving potency. Then there is complete, unbelievable upheaval, leela, all kinds of things happening with no disturbance to the heart. It's increasing the happiness of the heart. It is deeper than any substance we can conceive of. Will the truth have no form? Or just be like, ooh. Break everything. You're breaking everything. And it's just charming. He's God. He's not some, oh God, I'm really old, touching the hand of Adam here forever, and I got varicose veins, and everybody's starting to worry about me because I'm eternal and is really old. I mean, really old. I mean, how much older can I get?
May I contribute something?
Yes, sir.
Or, so the other day we were talking to Srila about Sharanagati, and I expressed to her how attached I am to my body, like how it's functional, how it's young, how I can do so many things. And then after remembering that I might get into an accident, I may lose a limb or get blind.
What, tetanus?
Oh yeah. So it was because we were remodeling the bathroom and I stepped on
For sure.
On a
You
nail.
will get older. That bottle's gonna get older.
So then what it helped us to have a proper acquaintance with the Lord, with the environment, is to remember that he does whatever he wants.
But he is so friendly to you.
That's crazy to consider.
What did you say the other day? What's
What?
wrong with him?
What's wrong with him? I mean, I was in pain because something happened. And he was like, of course, he's the cause of all causes.
It's like,
But
what
what's-
I do.
So I remember when I was like, I felt affection for a person, family, friends, partners, relationships, even if they will make a mistake, if they wouldn't be so nice to me, because of the affection, I will really try to comprehend that and give up my own ego, so that the relationship with that person can be victorious. So translating that to the positive side of divinity, if one day I may get into a crash, into a car accident and I become blind. What is it? The word for
Deaf.
Deaf, no limbs.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing that will help us literally is Sharanagati, because I wouldn't be able to hear the holy names of the Lord from the devotees or talks or see the devotees.
That's probably not going to be the case, but
I mean, who knows, right? Like
but
the Lord.
in the final end, Krishna knows what to do.
So without Sharanagati, it will be like really difficult, impossible.
It's the only way to see the purpose of the Lord. If we want to know His purpose, then we have to be ready to know it. I mean, we've seen many experiences like this, of some disaster that has melted the heart so much. And coming out of that kind of hard situation, the heart is softened. And there's a great relief. There's no mistakes, and there's no punishment, actually. In the eyes of the Lord, there's no punishment. It is only whatever is needed to change our angle of vision. Because our angle of vision is really off. And so when the surgeon comes, he's going to do something with this knife, you know. It's like, he's not our enemy. We pay him good money for that. So we have to have faith in the surgeon. He's not an enemy of ours. He's trying to remove something, but we have to let him do it. But, you know, these things take time, but that's why we have to keep talking about this. Because reality is everywhere. It's not like reality is over here, and then this is the other part. Reality is reality. It's not like somewhere else. Guru Maharaj said it is the Swarup Shakti that is really existing. But our eyes are covered with a shadow, chirabhas, because we want to misuse reality for myself. So I can't see it. I can't become a part of that family because I want to utilize it for my own purposes. Even the holy name, if we're using it so that, I'm just going to chant I'll just, rob this bank and then I'll chant the holy name and, it'll clear all of it. I won't get any karma. That's an offense. I can't use the holy name so that to get myself out of trouble. So, we have to, approach reality, and through surrender to how the environment is dealing with me, then we will begin to see that the environment is made of something higher than I am made out of. That's when we see reality. It's all there, it's all real, but I'm not seeing it. I'm seeing a shadow, like a hallucination of reality, and it's hellish. It's so hellish. And there's no end of it. I mean, we have the choice. We have free will, and we can remain in this plane forever, only seeing the flickering of my relative perception and thinking that it's the central truth, when it's just based on so many misunderstood things, so many illogical, irrational prejudices that we don't even recognize. But the Lord knows how to remove those one after another from our hearts, and we simply have to be sincere. So why do we want those things removed? For Him. It's enough for me. Enough already. It's a lonely little position of solitary confinement with just a few like interactions with another person in solitary confinement. That's really a harsh way to say it, but it's true. If we can see it clearly about that. Was that a little too heavy?
Necessary.
Resurrect my happiness.
Yeah, it's enough already. For me, Guru Maharaj said giving, real giving is so glorious. Taking is reprehensible. Taking. In the divine plane, there is no taking. There's no conception of taking. It is all a plane of giving and dancing. That is the eternity. That is the now. The now is only, now means above time. Time means action and reaction of the plane of exploitation. There's no time in reality. Or time comes in a form to serve the pastimes of the Lord. Time must be on the eternal platform, and the eternal platform means devotion. Then everything will be, time is not playing a part. Time is the ping pong table. We're ping pong back and forth, action, reaction. That's time. Time is the destroyer. It's taking everything and wrecking it. All the illusions will be broken. That's time. But to come to now means to come to the plane of devotion. Then it is eternal. It is the plane of no action and reaction. There's no criminal. There's no crime. Now you're doing time, you're doing serious time. We're doing serious time here. I don't know. Am I making any, or I don't know. Anybody want to add something?
I do have one question about this book. Was this Goswami Maharaj's first book?
I don't know.
I'm just curious.
I don't remember. We could find out pretty quickly, I think. But I really don't remember
Right.
if it was the first one. Sri Chaitanya Saraswat, 1983 is the first edition. Yeah, so I don't know if there's one before that or not. Might be.
Wasn't there a discussion about the title? And Guru Maharaj said he liked Sri Guru was great.
I don't remember. I don't know. Okay, so we keep reading, or should we stop here, or what should we do? You tell me.
I'd like to keep reading.
Okay, let's keep reading for a little bit longer.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Kyo has an off-topic question. He's asking, what year did Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswami Swami Maharaj get sannyas?
1985, because I was there.
1985? Oh.
I always remember that.
Right before Guru Maharaj's appearance day. The day before, right?
But, and he said, okay, this is your chair, I'm retiring.
And no.
In the Bhagavad, thank you, Q. Cool. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, it is better to die while performing one's own duty than trying to do another's duty. That is one stage of understanding, the relative consideration. The absolute consideration is also given in the Bhagavad Gita. Sarvadharman parityaja mamekam sharanam braja. Stick to your own. So, this is the revolutionary way. This is absolute, and this is relative. Stick to your own clan, don't leave them. That is a national conception. There is national consciousness and God consciousness, society consciousness and God consciousness. God consciousness is absolute. If society consciousness hinders the development of God consciousness, it should be left behind. This is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Guru nasasyat, svajano nasasyat, pita nasasyat, janani nasasyat, daivang natatsyan, napatish chasasyan, namo chayedya samupetam mrityum. Even a spiritual master, relative, parent, husband, or demigod who cannot save us from repeated birth and death should be abandoned at once. What to speak of ordinary things, even the guru may have to be abandoned. One might even have to give up one's own spiritual guide, as in the case of Bali Maharaj, or one's relatives, and as in the case of Vibhishan. In the case of Prahlad, his father had to be given up. And in the case of Bharat Maharaj, it was his mother. In the case of Katvanga Maharaj, he left the demigods. And in the case of the Yagya Patnis, the wives of the Brahmins, they left their husbands in their endeavor to reach the absolute personality. So everything can be done in relation to the absolute. There is no sinfulness there. That's why Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam. You just surrender to me. All these other dharmas, these rules and regulations, if they are not serving to help you in that central Sharanagati, leave it. Not just leave it. If it comes to you, throw it away. Get rid of it. It is as long as it is living peaceful with the absolute consideration, that's all right. But when it comes in conflict, I mean, so many of us just up and left our families. I mean, not left, but we just said, you know, I'm very grateful to you. I have affection for you. I'll always stay in touch with you, but I cannot not take this path, even though it may be different from what you expected of me or what I grew up understanding about religion. Without disrespect, I have to continue. I have to go on. I have to follow this thing. What was food for me at one time is no longer food for me. It's not helping me anymore. It is actually making me feel like I'm starving. And I needed to find now what is my nourishment. So the divine the guru principle is eternal. I mean, it is a manifestation of the Lord. And he's coming in different personalities. He is touching the conditioned soul as guru. But if a so-called guru, like a society guru, because like in India, everybody gets up and then they get a guru, and he may not have any spiritual potency at all. And so one can actually give up guru in order to find a deeper guru, a deeper manifestation of guru. All right. It's almost 8:30. Should we stop now, or is there any questions now?
I don't think.
All right then. Jai Shri Guru Grace Ki Jai Shri Bhakti. These are all the words of Srila Bhakti Raksak Sridhar Dev-Goswami Maharaj. Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev-Goswami Maharaj. Ki Jai. The assembled devotees. Ki Jai.
Jai.
Friday evening program. Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Mahaprasad Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol.
Jai Shrimati Shileka Devi Ki Jai. And then Jai to the dear devotees tuning in the live stream tonight. Jai Bhima Krishna Prabhu Ki
Jai.
Purushottam Prabhu Ki
Jai.
Q is with us. Namaskar Q.
Nice to see you.
And Namaskar Shanta.
Jai Shanta.
And Kyo has one more question. He's asking, discourses are informal, sermons are formal. For example, home comfort, would that be a discourse? Or sermons of the garden of devotion, would that be like formal sermon?
Srila Guru Maharaj, most of his talks were pretty informal. And most of the books are made from themes of informal discourses. He didn't give sermons of the guardian of devotion was also taken from informal talks for the most part. So yeah, most of these, it was just Srila Guru Maharaj's nature. He just sat in a chair, it's nothing, in a little place, and just whenever he spoke so many things, especially when the Western devotees came with so many questions. Because of his love for Guru Prabhupada, we were his disciples. He accepted us all, answered all of our questions so much. Otherwise, he was quite reclusive before that. But he said, my Guru Maharaj, Srila Saraswati Thakur, wanted me to go to the West, but I couldn't do that. So the West came to my ashram, and he said, Muhammad couldn't go to the mountain, so the mountain came to Muhammad, like that kind of thing. He said it is by the grace of Swami Maharaj that I was able to fulfill the order of my Guru.
All right.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Jai. Jai Guru. Ki Jai. Hare Bol. Good night. Nandava.
Dandava.
Jai Krishna Mohini Didi ki Jai. Jai Krishna Bhushan Prabhu ki
Jai. And
Braja Mohini Didi ki
Jai. And Christian Prabhu ki Jai. And
Jai.
Haide Prabhu ki Jai.
Jai Gurudeva.
Vaichan Hoibin Prabhu Chatur Bhakti Jan Vandana Koryami Shabrakchara. You can't go to the bottom of this. There's no bottom to it. It's not like you're going to go and go, oh, okay.
Got it.
Right.
Yeah, I got it. Or like, what's all that about?
Dandavad. Good night. See you tomorrow morning.